Good morning, folks. It's 8:15 a.m. on the second month, 8th day, 2025. I'm looking here at some of the volatility that's going to be going on through New South Wales. From the trough west, there's some cruisers along the EMF line that's going to hog the coast a little bit coming over the next few days. And so he's going to be very, very severe. The freedom fighters in Canberra need to be heads up to watch out for severe cells and to keep an eye on their radars to keep us all safe, because I don't think they're going to go quite to the west of the big lake back there as it's predicted to go. Okay, so we have to watch this very closely, because the temperatures are really what's fueling a lot of this stuff, is these differences. Let me get it on the temperature. I'm going to get rid of this unnecessary thing here. The temperature differences, like I just said, is across this area is vexed. Like overnight Sunday, or if I go in tonight, even, you went from a fairly hot, sticky in that area. That's my 3 a.m.s. You see these colds, but look westy. See these hots? Yeah, but it's causing this area of the trough here to get colder, right? Hot air flows towards cold. You got this dynamics of the Southern Ocean down here, and this dip down here, because this is rotating in this direction here, right? So it's bringing in some of this tropical moisture in towards this coast up here, which is tending to pin along this line where the hand is right here. So temperatures is fueling a lot of this, as well as EMF and atmospheric dynamics itself. Notice how this heat's in straight line squares. So they're planning on frying y'all. The roasters will be on. So we'll have to look for evidence of localized NEXRADs being used to provide some of this heat. I'll get to the west coast. Yeah, they're really hot. That's so fucking hot. Where can I go to cool off? I don't know, man. I don't know. You have to learn to lick your eyeball like a gecko, I guess. It gets so dry and hot sometimes. See that Southern Australia coming this week when they put the roaster on, Roxby, Downs, and all that back here, Cooper Pedy. That's hot, man. That's a big tendril of hot. And then behind that, it's going to help fuel other conditions that are not going to be so pleasant to experience. So I'm going to be rolling through some of the action and where to expect the thunderstorms over the next few days. And it's about all my hand can handle doing, and so that's all you guys can get from me. I'm sorry about that. You see how the thunderstorm line moves north? There's a really Queensland. When are you done around the Townsville area? I don't know. That's an I don't know, because all the flow setup is still got like that big dingus out here pointing that look at that on the screen here. Some of the pressures that I'm looking at here. Let me show you what you can expect. This whole flow of along that Pinocchio nose, it's like it's got a runny nose and it's coming your way, right? It's not stopping. It just ain't ending. A lot of your flow's coming from the west right now, bringing that tropical air in, and it's just coming and coming and coming every time that big Pinocchio dips out, point, because it's trying to reach this here through this passage that's blocked with EMF, and until it could reach that low, it won't equalize its pressure off. And when it snaps back, it's going to bring tendril of moisture with it once that equalizes. Every time it snaps back towards that low over Carpentaria, that landocane it's forming, it's going to have a lot of its moisture taken away from it, thank God, from the Northern Territory, but not so good for Western Australia, which will, as we're looking towards Sunday, something big is farming. And I've done the EMF map on it. It's up on a post called Data, and which I'll go through. So maybe you'll start to understand some of my personal notes and how I make weather notes, because I would looked at a lot of screens. You see how the hovering around Broome? I can't 100% determine that, because the EMF is showing me Karratha area here. The Port Hedland is where it should curveball in. And if I was to look at the EMF today, which is showing pretty plainly here, if I run this for you, and I'll do various zoom levels so you can see, where I'm looking. I'm watching them drive this away. Until this moves away, that can't farm. And that just got a big hit. Did you see that? Here, I'll show you. Yeah, they just hit this storm right in the center. It's going to jump a bit when I do this. Let me stop the image a bit. Whoop. Alright. I'm going to move this along so I see what I want. Right about here, they jumped the storm about 250 miles. It's not a little jump. They shoved it. You're going to watch this thing just go. Right about here is where the move happened. They'll hit it with a beam. See this beam that came through here? That's driven that off over towards the west, where the eye reforms right there. Yeah, so then this is free to come down and form, but the EMF that was put up by that on the last frame here, I can confirm that both Tigers are fired, by the way, New Zealand's and Hobart's, so those are up and running. Am I onto the last screen yet? I'm trying to show you this screenshot I have. Let me get it on it, because this is a long loop, so I can see many days of data at once. Because they had some really big blasts, and I'm going to show you the full setup, because you'll have to look towards China to see that. If I go on this last screen here, you'll see this fan. Look to this here, all pointing at one spot. And so I took the liberty of going to my wall and doing some homework about what's to be expected. You know, that's wave height right there in meters, by the way. So I could say, hey, surf's up, man. This will be Wednesday the 12th. Hey, surfers, it surfs up, and you'll probably be safer over here. But the better's going to be over here. Yeah, surf's up. So there you go. You got a couple days of good surf up along that coastline. Before and after this, as you can follow this thing south and really have a good run. And so we like to tell about the fun. And I mapped out some of the winds to be expected as it makes landfall. And there as well going to be in the tropical cyclone strength, but not to a Cat 2 or nothing like that. But with geoengineering, being able to do EMF moves inside the storm itself, independent of localized NEXRAD or the big HARP devices that everybody seems to think is what aims things, and isn't as accurate as saying there's just an EMF device and I watch it fly along with the storms. Okay, so we'll have data on that once this turns into a tropical storm. And this is how much the big tendril is packing, right? We're talking over 4 centimeters an hour inside the main bit of this storm that's being made now. So I went over the beams, okay? And this is the shove that killed it. Came right down through this side. And I turned right into it. And that part turned right into it. And this storm just jumps right over to here. And they shot a beam out from the device right about here that went a fan like this. While at the same time, shot a beam came up from the tropics that we picked up on earlier. And I zoomed in to see what NEXRAD was doing. And NEXRAD over here popped one off the coast. And it popped one off the coast over here as well. And it's really defined the corridor of flow, making the tropical flow towards that type of demisey thing. You see that little boogeyman looking thing here? I might get a little more zoom on this. Like this. Well, inside here I picked up a pulse. Right there. You'll see concentric rings. Yeah, that's not a good color to pick. Yeah, I'll go with white again. You'll pick up these concentric rings. Right into here. It has an atmospheric pulse, and chemical catalysts have been deployed about its perimeter to give the chemicals needed to propagate the waveforms. Is what you'll be seeing in there. And that's not a bad system saying it's going to go there. That creates a heated flow that'll go outwards and cause a barrier to form for it when it comes inland to come against. So I'm watching this very, very closely, and there's a lot still to be decided, especially when I just picked up on this beam here. And I could barely see before until I did this zoom coming down like that. So the corridors have been well set up for disaster for these folks, and this stuff coming in here now is still affecting these folks. But a lot of moisture has been sent that direction. And it's another big concern for Queensland's cattle country and the livelihoods of everybody in that Townsville area that's been so affected. As so much water's been turned towards you at once. I picked up the activity of a ship out here that I pointed out, because I need to know what pulses are going to come through here, in effect, what water is coming this way. How are they moving this through Vanuatu? Why is this plugged off? As to cause this to form out here as another cyclonic system will form out there. So, you know, and this is another shot that I took that I went over just now of where a tropical storm should form. And it won't be full strength yet, but you see how they parked that out here? And again, I'm going to do a bigger zoom on this. And I figured out something today that I could screenshot my screenshot. And it comes out fairly clear. You see a lot of engineering in here. Look at these square lines, right? Again, and that corner of that hits that corner of that, hits that corner of that. And as this turns, the viscosities will get this thing rotating how it's wanted. It's just thermodynamics with viscous fluids. And then you'll have to use Boyle's laws of gases and Charles's laws of gases to do the determinants of the heat flow that you want. To cause a localized convection, they'll do stuff like this. Get these things spinning to kick stuff from here inside, right? When you see stuff like that, that's usually what that does. Happy days. I know it's hard to look at this kind of stuff and feel anything but anger, but I've got a report on this. See these chemtrail lines through here? They're all different deployments. I believe it's the artillery method being using high altitude balloons. But that's not natural clouds that's making this storm. Boogeyman face here. I'll take some more of these. Look at that, eh? That's not the tiki. It's aliens, man. It's aliens. Holy fucking shit. You never know what you're going to see in the sky, you know. That's imaginary and stuff. I see an elephant in the room kind of a thing, you know. Which is not, you're not allowed to just talk about the elephant in the room because you'll get banned from Facebook. Yeah, the elephant in the room. So I went over that stat there. This here was my mimic capture, uninterrupted with some more Flomex on it. And this will show you, and we're going to direct our attention up here. And I'm going to look towards, again, what happened to set this whole up. So I've got this on the 4-day. So you can see the whammos involved. And I'll make the noise. Bzzzt. You see, you had 1, 2, and all these small beans in between. And that mattered. Pow, pow. Poo, poo. Pew, pew, pew. Geoengineering smells. And they totally straight lined this storm across your country. I mean, you could have made a more straight line. It's showing up here. You know, the EMF glitches are making lines in the sky. And you want to see some chem bombs? That's sickness mix, folks. That's Operation Popeye type deployment look that was used to do Agent Orange over the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I'm not saying this is Agent Orange. I'm just saying I don't think this is going to be something that's going to cause oranges to grow very well. This is sickness mix, and we deserve to know exactly what's in this stuff. Pow! And it falls out. Pow! This is like flak. This is like what you would see over London during the Blitz, I think. You know, how you doing there, Theodore? Chem bomb much? Chem bomb much? All fire data in Australia is not on the maps today, but everybody else's country is. Go figure. How you doing, you poontang up here? Big haze over here over the old tip of the mitten. Yeah, tip of the mitten looking place. I'm not talking the book Tip and Mitten. And here's Marlboro and all that. You got the EMFs going on in the military place over there. I see it. Yeah, look. See that shape? Yeah, they must have drills this weekend. Gladstone totally smashed. Absolutely smashed. They're even making an arrow pointing at Agnes Water over there, like, hey, look at that. And people think that's a natural cloud. Oh my, look at this. Isn't this horrendous? If you don't think this is horrendous, I can wonder what's wrong with you. And if you think this is a conspiracy, let me hypothetically ask you, if this was going on, would you want this to go on? Right? The Oneness is watching. And Oneness will do the judging of the earth. Again, one of those looking faces right off of Agnes. It's the ghost of Captain Cook's mama. It's Lizard Man, look. This is a very interesting cloud formation. Is E.T. calling home over here? I don't know. All I know is that's not a naturally occurring cloud formation. You ain't supposed to get all these squares and triangles and happy faces in your sky. We should have happy clouds, but not that. See the squares? See the disgusting? Isn't that horrendous? It makes me go. That is not giving happy bubbles to my seahorses out there. That's right, seahorses are getting chem-bombed. Koalas are getting chem-bombed. The pretty faced wallaby is frowning and sad out here in the bush. Out here, there is life that which you will never know or see, and some act like they care about it. You have whales going up this coast that now have to contend with wires from wind farms that when they burn up and fall apart are going to pollute more microplastics in the ocean. You got EMF over here frying out Sydney, absolutely blasted. Right atop of you guys there. Bzzz, getting fried. To the gong show. See the lines all pointing at you? Got a glitch here, folks? Are they saying they got a radar glitch? Yeah, well, guess what? Glitches don't cause cloud formations and dynamics to change. Glitches are a problem with your computer display. So I'll call lies. They are pulsing. These particular areas. Pulsations, vibrations, infrasonic undulations. See that explosion through here? That ain't the Superman symbol. That shit looking like the devil. That's fucking Baal. And they worship that. Some of our oppressors do. Don't you go to church and tell me there's a devil, and then when it shows up in your clouds, you won't acknowledge it. There's a big battle for good and evil going on right now. Pick a fucking side, pick a side. Pick your nose in between and shut up and say you're helping if that's all you want to do. Evenly spaced plumes. Oh, they're missing one. Oh, it's starting here. Here it is. There's the shark. Right? Evenly spaced plumes. I don't make that up. Measure it, man. You're more worried about the size of your dick than the size of the problem that I'm trying to bring awareness to. And big problems. Oh, some fires have showed up, but nothing the big ones. Yeah, this is how it's hard to look at. So let's have a look at the makings of this. I showed you the geometrics of this. Hey, look, it's a big Q if I add that to it. Look. And there are chemtrails over the United States, by the way. Don't feel like going over there and showing you right now. But somebody is going around. There's a bad grapevine with a bunch of bad fucking grapes, and we shouldn't have that kind of grapes in our wine. They're grapes of wrath. These are fires and chem. How close to Washington? Do you want to see them over West Virginia? This is the last satellite image I've got. How close to Washington do you want me to get? They're getting fried in Fredericksburg. This is Washington, D.C. You tell me how the administration right now has ended chemtrails or geoengineering when I see chem bombs and I see the microwaves over the United States of America itself. You tell me, and this is Washington, D.C. right here. See it? You tell me how they've ended chemtrails. Okay, so there's whoever you're following for that kind of stuff needs to fact check themselves or just stop listening to them. Because here's Washington and here's chemtrails. Okay? Can not end. Okay? Let's just have that be proof of that as of the last satellite image from yesterday. Okay? So please, if you're going to throw bullshit at me, don't expect me not to throw it back. Okay? So, because I watch all the time. Chemtrail, scalar square, microwave popcorn, a field of sickness mix over Parkiston, Charleston, West Virginia, where there's a university, a major one. Ever heard of Mary Baldwin College for women? The squirrels. That's right. He knows some shit. I've been there. Some of this will be snow on their mountains. Snow always falls in a square, though. Yeah, it's something else I noticed. Scalar squares with energy on the edges of them that are driving and levitating snows and particles will do that. Oh, look, we got the lost puppy out here. Geoengineering still well evidenced in the United States of America today. You are getting McFried, not McCooked. Yep. And we go over toward Los Angeles, right? Chemtrails. Chemtrails over the United States, over Long Beach, over these areas. There's been so terribly affected by what I see as contrived fires. It was like a puzzle piece here, huh? See the square farms today? It's the geoengineering hasn't stopped. Because you say you don't want to foot the bill of the Paris Agreement chemtrail program anymore, don't mean it stopped. And I go over to Australia, and here you go. You guys get absolutely smashed. Absolutely smashed. And that was today. Your image will be here. Okay, so I showed you the last image. I ain't gonna call it the latest greatest. I'll just call it the latest. And even here, these plumes are evenly spaced. This is a natural cloud formation. Don't believe a bunch of dry, lightning ass, brainless motherfucking newsreaders who have no conscience. No conscience. People ask how do they sleep at night? On beds of money, man, on beds of money that is filled with the blood of the ignorance deaths that are caused by the words from their mouths. From their mouths. I'm getting upset. Max facts. How many of them newsreaders clot shot dropping that told you and said that people like me with an independent opinion should be locked up and stuff? Well, you know what? All we did was give a fuck. And I give a fucking now to tell you about an unpopular program that's going on involving chemtrails. A chemical catalyst placed in the sky that causes a cloud to form or changes the dynamics of the atmosphere intended for weather modification. And it doesn't necessarily mean a plane is coming along. Matter of fact, most of what I see is done with an artillery method far above the level with most cloud seeding planes farm. And as I look at Canberra yesterday, you got absolutely smashed with Cam. Look at this sad-faced guy-looking thing over here, smiling down. That's your ancestors looking at you, very proud that you came and stood up, and they stood with you yesterday. I see it right here in the cloud shot. I'll get that to it. Yeah, they stood with you yesterday. If you turn off some of these road lines, maybe they'll show up a little bit better. That's right. Some people are going to be able to look their ancestors in the eye. But, you know, you shouldn't have cancers now, cures made for kids. I'm seeing on signs everywhere. Well, we didn't have these problems 100 years ago, 50 years ago. So something's happened. About like the denial of what's going on in these sky crimes. Something's going on here, right? And I don't think we're being fully informed. Okay, so going through some of the thunderstorms over the next few days. Now let me roll what's going to go on here. Keep a good eye out. West Australia, you're going to get your own little roll. My hand hurts. I got to just let this run a minute. Yeah, I'm all right. Yes, something caught on fire in the house yesterday. A plug socket on a new heater. Yeah, it blew up. It went bang! Smoke was coming out of the heater. The wall socket was on fire. Yeah, that was a very alarming situation. So my little heater is not quite enough for this room. He said he's bringing another one. If it's the same kind, man, I don't ever want to have that on again. What might have been in the kitchen? Or asleep. So, yes, the oneness is watching over us. I'm absolutely convinced. Call it what you will. Call it Jesus, call it Buddha, call it Allah. Call it oneness, call it I am, call it Jehovah, call it Yahweh, call it your way, call it my way, call it oneness. Yep, I'm convinced. As we see the volatility of the thunderstorms are going to kick off here on Monday. Yeah, it seems the cutoff line where they're going to ride inland is right about Coffs. Okay, so we'll be more accurate about that here in a moment. Let me run this through here and see some times. I'm expecting the action through here because of the cold hot mix and that tropical air coming straight at you. It's going to go up. It should split and go up into Brizzy because I'm seeing a setup. Yeah, you get some fair. That'll be about 6 o'clock dinner time, rush hour along the Bruce coming home on Tuesday. You'll be contented with some showers, so to be watching yourselves. Yeah, so heavy cells coming through the overnight hours, through Tweeds, Lismore, and all along the entire coast north of what didn't get it when this first batch came up and split inland. Yeah, and I'm expecting some fair totals from these. And it's going to be very electrical. So heads up. Make sure you unplug your heaters, man. So when that event comes on Thursday, that night there, you get some fair totals along the coastline coming over the coming. I'll do you a week. Right, as it does to split through here, it drops a lot more condensate through Grafton in these areas west of the coast. Yeah, Rapville. You'll be doing stuff, rap songs about the rain, rapping geoengineer rain. I'm not fully believing these totals ain't going to go up more here. Yeah. Nimb and I believe this because I seen a deployment today that almost looked like everybody blew out a toke at once. It was kind of interesting looking. Or did a radar truck park on Main Street and say they was doing some kind of weather measuring? Or is somebody running an Aether device up there pointing it? Yes, I see some action going on up there. I can't quite explain. And I could say over here and go on Sat View and go, I see you. Yeah, I seen you. It was quite plain. As I went down here, I see him. It's actually right about here. Blows out the clouds real suddenly. Yeah, if I come over here, yeah, I see some action going on. Yeah, it should be right about here. Right here. See that haze right here? Somebody's running a device of some kind here, whether it's Aether device, whether it's a constable translator, because we are working on these storms, you know. Don't think that I don't get involved in the type of stuff that uses tensor technology and others, but you see this haze here? Yeah, I say right here, this triangle, somebody's running a device there. See it? There's a device there. Yeah, it's plain as day to me. And the cloud dynamics and that haze it created right there says it all. Yeah, so you might really have caused a flow that could fuck some people up south of you, judging from the dynamics. So I hope you knew what you was doing when you did that. Okay, again, in that one, I'm gonna turn that off. Also, I'd like to thank everybody that's helped out. Yes, this is an old GoFundMe I need to replace with a Koha one, and one involved for my return to Australia, which will happen, as I love your country, and I haven't finished making it even as far as Mackay and up and down the coast again. And so I do intend to do that. Yeah, I want to buy my own heater, one I could trust. Is any help towards anything would be really, really great. And thank you for your kindness. It's been wonderful. So let me continue this. You want to see the back half of the week? Ain't that nicer to see when that's all you're getting? Right? I like to see that. I like to come up here and say I seen all that, but you ain't done. Right? When is it going to stop for Townsville? Big question I'm getting asked. Not right now. That's over the next 36 hours. And you got another big whammo coming right in here. You're fucked. You're still fucked. Yeah, it's really a bad situation for these folks. As I get on over towards Thursday, it's still wet. Okay, so we'll have to say, as I look closer to that time, what's going on. But I'm really concerned about these folks here in this passage here. And it does look like that's where it's headed inland. And so as we get closer to the timing of this arrival of this terribleness that's going to affect this coast, pretty much through here, we got to watch out for the folks there. We got to open up the farmlands for them, make sure they got food in advance. Don't be waiting on the government to come help you so they could take a picture of themselves holding a check in the air that you never get. We got to watch out for ourselves. This river's going to flood, whatever this is called. The Gray River will be the Wide River, and the Ridley River's going to have problems. There's the Gray. Paradoodoo Creek over there, Pardue Creek, you're going to have some problems. So heads up now. Heads up now. Because fuckery is afoot and it's on its way. The foot's coming to stamp on you. You've got about 2 or 3 days to react. And I'll be watching this very, 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 very closely as another deadly geostorm has been created over your area, directed by EMF, supplied by the chem bombs. And this is not Mother Nature's love. This is motherfucker land grabbing your asses. I tried not to swear. You guys stay safe. I'll be watching. Big love. Peace.